Hello, hello. Hola, Erigaray. ¿Qué tal? Hola, Jorge. Hello, hello. Hello, everyone. ¿Qué tal? Hola, Alex. ¿Qué tal? I'm gonna try something new today. I'm gonna try to post a picture while we are doing a live session. Let me try if it is possible. Oops, no, it's not. Does anyone know how to keep a picture up there? Hi, Maria. Um, no, I don't know how to do that. I just wanted to put a picture of the wine, but it's not gonna work out. Anyways, hi everyone. Today we're gonna talk about Chilean wines. We're gonna travel to Chile from Barcelona all the way to Chile. We're gonna talk about Chilean wines and Miguel Torres Chile with the winemaker Cristian Carrasco. Yes, a new space, Irgara. Let me see. Hi, Mireia. Let me see if Cristian is here. So then we can start the session. Let me see. Cristian. Yes, Cristian is here. Cristian Carrasco. Perfect. Hi, Cristian.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. Yourself?
Yes, fine. A little bit
Yeah.
tired, but good.
Yeah, because you
Yeah,
are now working. You're in the winery, right?
yeah. Actually, I am in the winery. We just finished harvest last week, so we
Uh-huh.
still have a couple of tanks fermenting,
Mm-hmm.
and well, it's been a lot of work this year.
Yeah, one of the topics that I want to talk about actually the harvest 2020. But before that, let's just wait a few more seconds so that everyone can join. And in the meantime, I'm gonna try something, and I'm gonna
Okay.
try to post a picture of La Causa, but I cannot. Do you know how to do that? Have you ever done it?
Uh, I'm not pretty
I
sure
see
about
some people
that.
when they do
Huh?
live sessions, they have like a picture here up there on the screen, and I don't know
Hmm?
how they do it. Yeah, I was trying to put the picture of the La Causa so that everyone could see, but yeah, it doesn't work. Anyways, we'll show. Yeah, it's better. It's better. Great.
We have some here.
Yeah, perfect. By the way, Alex Buch says hi to you. Hi, Alex.
Hey, Alex, how are you?
Great. So again, for the people who join now, we are traveling to Chile, and we are with Cristian Carrasco, the winemaker of Miguel Torres Chile. Welcome again, Cristian.
Hello, everyone.
There's so many things that I want to talk to you with about the entire Miguel Torres Chile and the other projects, but we don't have so much time to talk about everything. So let's start with a little bit of the history of Miguel Torres Chile and also yourself. So you can also introduce us about yourself a little bit and how you ended up in Miguel Torres Chile.
Well, long story, but well, I'll try to make it a little bit short. Well, Miguel Torres Chile, as you know, is a company that is part of the Torres family in Spain. It began in 1979 when Mr.
Mm-hmm.
Torres, Miguel Torres Chile, heard the counsel of his friend Alejandro Parot, who was studying with him in Dijon Enology faculty,
Mm-hmm.
about the lands of Chile and how wonderful was Chile to grow vines. So he traveled down here to Chile to check on site what was this marvelous place that Alejandro was talking about, and he was amazed about all the probability of growing good wine here. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Chile is a place that you can find a lot of different weathers, a lot of different soil conditions, a lot of different topography conditions, and also it's a really fertile land. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we're known as an agroalimentary uh, uh, country in the world, like a super power of food and growing stuff. And the vines is the same. So he decided to invest here and right in 1979, changing everything in the Chilean wine industry. For example, he was the first one to bring the stainless steel tanks into Chile, which changed the Chilean industry forever. And also he also introduced the use of oak barrels to age the wines. So that started to change definitely the face of the Chilean wine industry. So it was really important, the arrival for the Chilean wine industry.
And how did you arrive in Miguel Torres, Chile? Because you are
Oh,
originally from Chile, right?
yeah, I'm from Santiago. Well, I studied in the Universidad de Chile. And I arrived to Torres to be in charge of a particular project. It was about doing the first sparkling wine out of Pais grape. So,
Can it be this?
oh yeah.
Is it this one?
Yes,
Is it
yeah. Well,
Estelado? I
this
didn't
is
know that it is this actually.
yeah. Well, I helped develop that. I was hired to be in
Uh-huh.
charge of that project, to be the
Ah, okay.
winemaker in the field for that. So we started that project on 2007. I arrived here on February 2008, and we developed that wine after 3 years or so, and it was a huge success for the company and also for the price growers in Chile, and helped to put back on site the Pais
Okay.
grape, which is
Yeah.
really important in this country.
Yeah, actually, yeah,
So I
now sorry
no
to
no, no
interrupt. Yeah, go
go.
ahead. No, go,
Well,
go.
well, after that, I stayed here in charge of the barrels and the high-end wines, and all the Cordillera range and Mazo de Velasco and Empedrado. And lately in 2016, I'm in charge from the La Causa project, which is the latest
Yeah, which we will
innovation.
come to that project a bit later because this is super exciting and I just want to give some time to that one. But before that, correct me if I'm wrong. I think in Miguel Torres, Chile, you have around there is around 400 hectares in total, no? All around
Yes,
Chile.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Can you please, can you tell us a little bit where are the vineyards located?
Well, our main operation is in the Central Valley, Curico, okay, in the seventh region. And we have vineyards. We work with grapes from Elqui Valley in the north, which is about 600 kilometers from Santiago up north. And to the south, we go all the way down to Osorno, which is 1,000 plus kilometers from Santiago. So pretty much we cover all the area that you can grow vines in Chile. So we have 5 states of our own, and for the far away vineyards, we work with producers in long-term contracts, and yeah, that allows us to produce wines from everywhere.
And also, it's great that you mentioned the long-time contracts because Miguel Torres Chile is very big on organic wine production, but also in fair trade, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Could you please tell us a little bit about that both concepts?
Yeah, well, it's quite interesting because we start to switch into organic production in 2010 or so, okay, and all of our vineyards are managed in organic way. Besides that, when we started the project Estelado, we wanted to make it that people will realize what we were doing with the small producers, and the way to do that was certificate us as fair trade. So we compel ourselves to achieve and to pay the grower what he deserves for the grapes, and it's especially important for the Pais grape, which in Chile is really underrated and underpaid. So this type of certification help the grower to have a fair price every year, okay, despite the market. If it's a good year or a bad year, he will have the same level of price, which
Same
is
price.
20 or 30% up the market price all the time. And this is particularly important for grapes such as Pais and the grapes from Itata, for example. So we became the largest company in working under the fair trade label. So we have all the Santa Digna range certified as fair trade, La Causa also, and the Estelado wines.
It's about like, I think it is Santa Digna range. It has been 10 years. No, it's already fair trade.
Yeah,
certified.
Yes, it will be 10 years since 2010 or so. Yeah, and it's been tough, you know, because not every grower want to certify, because they have to achieve a certain level, minimum level, like having a place for the workers to eat, good bathrooms, you know, shade, and some growers don't want to do that, so we don't want them. But the ones that understood the project, the certification, they're having good times because they have every year, you know, this is constant. They have this, they can plan ahead because they know every year they're gonna sell their grape. Otherwise, it will be abandoned to the market. If it's a good year, there's a lot of grapes, no one will buy from them. But only if it's a bad year, they can get a good price. But you know, it's like that. So what we give with the fair trade is having this constant, you know, and this the safety for the growers to have an income every year.
Yeah, actually, in Spain, we also face that issue a lot. Especially in Catalonia, in coa production. I don't know if you know about it. Like the big, two big names. I'm not gonna tell the names. I mean, everyone knows, but they control the trade here, especially with the grape prices, and they lowered down the prices even like 25 cents per kilo, which is very, very sad. And thanks God, there are other companies like Miguel Torres. They're kind of fighting this and then setting the minimum price for the grapes for the viticultures.
At the end, the idea is that everyone can make a living out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
As a winery and there as a grower.
So let's talk about a little bit the wines itself. As we were talking about the grapes, let's talk about Pais, because Miguel Torres, as you said, it is also like shaping the wine industry in Chile with fair trade and with innovation. But also Pais is a really important grape because it is bringing back a forgotten grape, and also as well as Muscat and Carignan, right?
Well, the case with Pais is quite interesting because it's really the underdog of the Chilean industry, you know. As a variety, winemakers didn't give it a chance for years and years. You know, when the wine industry start to grow, you know, and selling these Cabernet Sauvignons and cheap and good, you know, and shaping the industry in Chile, Pais wasn't good for that, you know. Pais, you know, there's not too much color in it, tends to lose the acidity pretty fast, but no one care about it, but the growers still grow it. And this an important reason for that, because in the places that you can find Pais, the only thing that you can grow is Pais. You know,
is it a high yielding grape? Is it a high yielding grape, Pais?
It depends on the conditions. Okay, if you give Pais good conditions such as irrigation, good pruning, you know, conduction system, you can get 25,000-30,000 kilograms per hectare. But grapes that is not good quality. The secret of Pais is to find all vineyards that has low yields, okay, and that they are balanced with the environment. What I mean is that they're part of the landscape, you know, they're part of the ambient there. They're part of the ecosystem, you know. There's no culture put inside the land. It's part of all the land, you know. And when you achieve that through the years, you know, the wines speak for themselves. So We have in Chile right now around 8,000 hectares of Pais, and not all of it is good, but you can find
Mm-hmm.
some of it that is really good. So that's been
Mm-hmm.
our search for the last 12 years, to look
Mm-hmm.
for places and for vineyards that can express what is Pais, and we are still looking for what is Pais. But
Mm-hmm.
it's giving a new face to the Chilean wine industry, and Torres has been a major actor on that, because with Estelado, we were able to put Pais back in the supermarkets again, to people,
Mm-hmm.
to know this grape. And that opens the door to small growers and other people who's working with Pais. And Pais is, I mean, could be the grape that is the variety of Chile, for me, more than
Mm-hmm.
Cabernet, of course,
Mm-hmm.
for me.
Yeah. And then the other producers, especially Chilean producers, are they following I mean, the path of Torres with Pais? Are they now planting more Pais, and are they using Pais in their wines? Did it change their whole perception a little bit in the industry?
There, there's quite a few. There's quite a few
Mm-hmm.
big ones that start working with it, but also there's a lot of small producers that are doing really interesting wines. And
Mm-hmm.
the thing about Paris is that you cannot plant Pais, because when the vine is young, the quality of the grape is not good. So you
Mm-hmm.
have to search for all Pais.
All
So
Pais.
that's the cool thing about it. And there's a lot of
Yeah.
hidden treasures. You go to the Secano area in Maule or in Itata or even southern to Biobío, and you will find vineyards that, for example, have been abandoned or been there for centuries,
Mm-hmm.
that can give you wines that you cannot expect. We're now working with Pais from Bio Bio, for example, and it's a completely different wine
Mm-hmm.
that from Itata or from Maule. So we're
Mm-hmm.
seeing that Pais has many faces within. So it's really,
Mm-hmm.
really, really amazing. It's cool. Yeah.
And what is the average age of the vineyards of Pais that you have? I mean, average age of the wines that you work with?
Well, for example, for the Pais that we work in for Estelado, that is from Curico, the average goes between 80 to 120 years old.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
The ones that we work in Itata, we have a small plot that is half an hectare that it was planted in 1617.
Wow. Wow. 16, 17.
Yeah, yeah. And we have now
Super
another
low
vineyard.
yields, but super high concentration, I assume.
Yeah, and really particular. See, that's the special thing about this old grapes. It's
Mm-hmm.
really really special. It's really really special.
Okay.
And in that time and also in Bio Bio, the vineyard that we have now, we actually don't know how old it is.
Mm-hmm.
There's no records. There's
Wow.
nothing.
No records, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Wow.
that's
Whole entire
typical Chilean.
discovery. I mean, I'm originally from Turkey, and it happens in Turkey as well. No
Yeah.
records, and there's so much history of winemaking and viticulture,
Yeah.
but no, not real good records.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
That's a big problem.
so Pais is a black grape variety, but this is a
Yep.
Blanc de Noir. But if
Exactly.
I'm not wrong, it has a thin skin, right? The Pais
Yep.
as a grape is a thin skin. So
With
how do you find it to work with Pais for Blanc de Noir?
Well, it's quite interesting and it's easy, but we have to manage the pressing. That's really
Mm-hmm.
important. We do the cold pressing at cold temperature with the whole cluster,
Mm-hmm.
and that way we can extract the less color possible. And
Mm-hmm.
the pressure, we work with only the center of the pressures. So everything that comes first from the press and last from the press, we keep it apart. So only the heart of
Mm-hmm.
the press goes into the wine.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
And there's a question here from Story de la Viña, and he's asking, what is the production? I think not only for this, but generally the production of Pais grape, more or less, the Pais that, I mean, different.
Well,
Yeah.
that's a big question because most of the Pais, I told you there's around 8,000 hectares of Pais in Chile. Most of it ends on Tetra Paks, bulk wine. You know, they use the big wineries use it to put it in the Cabernet blends and increase the volume and lower the cost. But for good Pais, we will be as we do 15,000 cases, only us.
Wow,
And
15,000
a few other
cases.
wineries.
Only.
Yes, and few other wineries. So I'm just guessing here. I think we could get to 100,000 cases total of Pais.
Wow, it's
But
in
label as
comparison the
Pais
others is
and
nothing. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But it's still we have one of the nice things about this is we have a lot of room to grow. So.
And there's another question. They're asking a viticulture question. They're asking, what is the normal training system for Pais?
Cup, just head prune.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But is it everywhere like that, or depending on the microclimate?
Depending on the area, it will be higher or lower the formation of the cup. In Itata, for example, they go a little bit down, you know, to help the vine to get the water from the soil. In Cauquenes, it's a little bit higher, but mainly is like that, and it's ancient pruning. We tried to change it. It didn't work.
Okay.
They know better, you know. They've been doing this for hundreds of years, and sometimes you say, I'm technical. I know more than them. Nah.
No, it doesn't work.
It works well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it has its own spirit, and then you cannot just go.
Yes, and right now we are trying to do those wines to let the grapes speak and try to intervene less and less now. For the red wines in Torres, we're not using yeast. This is the second harvest.
Everything is indigenous yeast. Huh? We are losing Cristian. Oops, back.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, okay. You're back.
Back.
Yeah. So all the yeast that you are using is indigenous yeast.
Yes, for the red wines, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
It's been challenging, but we are learning in the process, and it's interesting what happens with the wines, with the native yeast. So yeah, a lot of things going on.
Okay. So there's one more question about Pais. Let's move to this question, and then we will talk about La Causa. So Maria from Greece asking, if you made a single vineyard wine from Pais, from Curico, how different would it be from a single vineyard wine from Pais, from Itata Bio Bio? Aromas, acidity, body.
Well,
it's a question that we can dedicate the entire session. Thank you, Maria, for such a great question.
but putting it simple, Curico is a lot hotter than Itata or Bio Bio, for example. They have less water, so the wines here will be more red fruit driven, more candy. Okay, the alcohol will get a little bit higher, and the pH is a little bit higher too. So you will have a wine that is quite round and maybe not fresh enough. But if you go south to Itata, for the weather and also for the soils, you will have a Pais that is more fresh and with more acidity, more crispiness. You know, it's more it's crunchy. You know, the wine is crunchy. You know, and you have this acidity that you cannot get in the hotter areas. And if you go even southern to Bio Bio, then the nose start to change into more herbal aromas and more wood aromas. Not wood. I mean wood like a forest. You know, when you go
like more earthiness. Yeah, earthy notes.
You know, like mushrooms and all the stuff, flowers, and also a fruit that is more. I don't know what is the word. Sorry, my English is a little bit rusted.
No. If you can say it in Spanish as well.
Fruta silvestre, no fruta.
Okay, my Spanish I think is
wild,
not as good to translate that, but
Yeah,
salvaje, no, it's something like salvaje.
salvaje. Yeah,
Okay,
yes,
wild, yeah.
it's a little bit, I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
wild fruit. It's
Not
not.
fruit. Okay.
And it's more interesting the south for me for Pais than here. But here, I don't know, in Curico, it's good if you go to the coast and keep the acidity. You can
Mm-hmm.
do really good sparkling wine. So you can change the vinification and having a different wine. So you can still do something with Pais.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and the sparkling that you do, this is a traditional method, and all these other
Exactly.
sparklings are traditional method, right?
Yeah, we don't work with
Okay, great.
Charmat. And also
Okay.
Pais, well, Pais is a grape that has the tannins tends to be a little bit rough.
Mm-hmm.
So the traditional method helps to polish that tannin a little bit, and you have a wine that is a little bit more softer.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Yeah.
There was another question about climate from Gonja, but I think you also touch based with your answer, and I think it explains the question. But Gonja, if it is not clear, just let us know. So last but not least, it is, I think, in the whole Miguel Torres Chile wines, the entire range or the portfolio that you guys have, what I found really very amazing is you have the unity, the style of the wines, but also in each range you have the unique character. For example, what I really like to do, like to taste the same varietal from different range. Let's say Las Mulas Sauvignon Blanc, and then Santa Digna Sauvignon Blanc. And then Las Mulas Cabernet Sauvignon Rosé, Santa Digna Cabernet Sauvignon Rosé. Total different story. Or Santa Digna Chardonnay, Cordillera Chardonnay. Very different story, but amongst the range, Santa Digna, Las Mulas, Cordillera, you see the unity. So it is, first of all, how do you achieve this?
Well, here you can find two things basically.
Mm-hmm.
When we are doing Las Mulas or Santa Digna, okay, we are using the Central Valley appellation, okay,
Mm-hmm.
which allows us to choose several places to do the wine, okay, within the Central Valley. So
Mm-hmm.
we have an idea of how each one should be like. So the vinifications are made with that idea in mind. For example, for the white grapes, we do everything by cold pressing, really reductive, you know. All the sedimentation is static, it's really old fashioned.
Mm-hmm.
And that way we think we get the best from the grapes. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
we do that treatment to all the wines, no matter if it's going to Las Mulas or going to Cordillera. So we treat all the grapes with the same, we say, love.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't care if it's coming, it's a
Yes.
Sauvignon Blanc that is coming from here, Curico hot area, or it's coming from, I don't know, from Chardonnay from Limarie. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
we make a little bit different stuff because of the fruit of Limarie is amazing, and will give you a unique wine. But the treatment that we do in the winery is the same. So we take care of
Mm-hmm.
every single tank as it will be the top
Mm-hmm.
wine.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Perfect.
that's a lot of
And
work.
now let's
That's
talk
that's
about,
how that's
sorry,
how we
sorry,
achieve
there's
that
a
that
little
that
bit
that.
delay. So I don't
Okay.
interrupt, I don't mean to interrupt you, but there's a delay, so that's why I'm like jumping.
Oh, this is a
Yeah.
small lag. Okay.
Yeah, there
Um,
is.
Well, and by doing that, we have a conductive line through all the wines, and that's what you
Mm-hmm.
taste at the end. You have, and in the end, that's what we will say is quality at the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that is really fascinating to me, like to see if you do blind tasting, uh, the entire, let's say, Las Mulas or Santa Digna or Cordillera, you can which is Las Mulas, which is Santa Digna, because it screams like it, because
Yeah,
they have
yeah,
such a unique character.
exactly, exactly, and that's what we're looking for. So we have the idea of Las Mulas has to be, for example, more fruit driven. You
Mm-hmm.
have to tell that it's Sauvignon Blanc. Maybe Santadina has to be a little bit more elegant, more complex, you know. And Cordillera range has to talk about the place, because the range is about the place. So that's what we try to achieve with the same quality for the wine.
Yeah, I think it is difficult to achieve this. It's obviously it is a skill, it is art, it is experience, and that's why I congratulate you and the entire team. So let's talk about La Causa.
Well,
yeah. First of all, how did it start? Yeah, the project.
Well,
how did it start?
It's a really nice story, because after the success that we had with Estelado, we fell in love with the Pais grape. You know, we felt, and Miguel felt strongly. Miguel Torres Chile felt strongly that Pais has a lot more to give. So we start researching more places, and the challenge was to do a red wine out of Pais. So we started doing essays from places, and we came to this wine that is called Reserva de Pueblo. I don't know if you have tasted that.
No.
Pais from
Not
Cauquenes. First vintage was in 2012, and it was the first red wine out of Pais that we took out to the market, and it has a really good reception on the public. But that wine was made with carbonic maceration, because we, as a company, wasn't so sure that the people was prepared to have a real Pais, you know. So carbonic maceration helps to make wines that are a little bit more gentle, you know, with soft mouth, with a lot of fruitiness, you know. And you put it in the refrigerator, take it out really fresh, and drink it by the pool, like for hectoliters drinking, you know. But we always wanted to do something more out of Pais, so we keep looking for places, and we arrived in 2013 to Itata Valley. And like everyone who goes to Itata, we were amazed. We didn't, well, personally, I couldn't believe that we had this in Chile. You know, when I studied in the university, they roughly talked to me about Pais grape. You know, they roughly talked to me about Itata. They talked to me about costs. They talked to me about efficiency. They talked to me about, you know, which is the best grape at the lower price. But they didn't talk about the identity of where we should go as a wine industry, and to become a wine industry that is a long-term driven wine industry, no short-term driven wine industry. Because right now we're struggling with that. We're struggling with being known as the cheap and good wine in the world, and there's no more room for that. You know, that will end. You know, we have to show that we're a lot more than that. And Pais grape and all these old vineyards, there's a way to go, and we're realizing that Chile is about diversity. So we went to Itata and fell in love with the place. We start with a few essays, and not only with Pais, we saw there was Cinsault there was Muscat there, so we started doing wines from there. Miguel was really close to that project, and we tasted the first wines, and it was like, okay, we should do this. And in 2014, we made the first wines of La Causa, which is a line of wine that is really special, because it's out of the box. It's nothing like Torres used to do, you know. Torres wines has a style that is its own, and this is out of the box. If you taste this, you won't say this Torres wines.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
No, it is.
And I was chosen to do these wines and to show the world what we could do with this. And the idea was to help the rescuing and to keep the tradition of the vine growers in Itata. They're struggling. They've been struggling for 40, 50 years now. And this whole way of living could disappear. So La Causa is our little help to them to keep them alive, and to show to the world that there is Itata Valley. It's not only us. There's more than 12,000 hectares of vines in Itata, and there's no way that we can make it all. And there's a lot of great growers and great wine producers there, but they cannot show that to the world. So we can help by showing this wine, showing that Itata Valley exists to the world and people will interested into the valley. So the aim is to focus on the valley and not focus on the winery. So that's why if you see in the label, you cannot, I don't know if you cannot read Torres anywhere.
No.
You know?
Yeah.
So because we don't want people to buy this wine because it's a Torres. We wanted to buy this wine because it's Itata.
Itata. And La Causa, in English, it means the cause, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
The meaning.
Great. The meaning.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the meaning is to show and to rescue and to keep and to preserve this way of living. It is more than winemaking. It's a way of living. It's people that can only grow this. So you have two choices in Itata. You grow vines or you grow trees, and the trees gonna kill your land and lose all this heritage that we have there. So we're like us is our small help to them and to show to the world that it's great wines to be discovered in Chile.
Okay, perfect.
Taste a little bit.
Yes, please. And also, I love the other thing about that you use screw cap. As a big applause for the screw cap. 2-3 weeks ago, we did a session with a Master of Wine, cork versus screw cap. I'm a huge screw cap fan. So also congratulations for the screw cap. This is the Muscatel, right?
Yeah, this is Muscat, 2016. Well, this wine I have, it's funny to taste it blind because people wouldn't know what it is, because the smells are really floral and a little bit of citric and a little bit of apples there. It smells like a sweet wine, but then they go into the mouth and they found that it's completely dry and people doesn't know what is it. So I always say, okay, it tastes like Muscatel from Itata. It is like that.
Yeah, because it is not a usual expression of Muscatel. It is totally different.
Exactly. So that's what we want to show, and we achieve this by doing this wine in contact with the skins. Okay. So we have some tannins going on here. So this is a white wine with red wine structure. If you will measure the tannins on this wine, it will have the same amount of tannin that a light Pinot Noir, for example. So this
how
wine
long
has
do you have the skin contact? Is for how long, or how many hours or days?
This is for as long as fermentation lasts.
Okay, during the entire time of fermentation.
Yeah, so it will be from 5 to 7 days. And some years, when it gets too bitter, we take it out a little bit early. But in the time that will evolve. So this wine is a wine that you have to give it sometimes. So right now we're selling the 2016, which is at the highest point. And it's dry and it's really gastronomic. In Spain, it's listed on a lot of Michelin restaurants. And every time I go there, they say, "Oh, well, this wine will work great with our food." So it's really, really, well, it's trendy to say that it's gastronomic wine.
Yeah, I mean, it is trendy, but it is also it is true because it's normally in Moscatel you don't find it so much. Moscatel is not a very gastronomic grape, but the expression here, it is totally different. And I really love the balance between fruitness, but also vegetal aromas and the acidity and the tannins. It has a really great balance and structure.
Yeah, and what you say is key. The acidity is the secret, the crunchiness that has this wine, the saltiness also that you can get from this wine. So it makes it really, really special, and a Muscat that only can be found in Itata.
Yes. So we need to go, all of us, to Itata.
Oh yeah,
to see the vineyards.
I will say one of the most beautiful vineyard landscapes in the world. I'm not kidding. When I was there, it's like it's overwhelming. It's breathtaking. Yeah.
Great. I tasted the Moscatel 2016 Muscat La Causa, and I also tasted the Pais, the red wine, and also tasted the rosé. The rosé is sin salt, right?
Yeah, the Rosé Cinsault is the latest addition to our line. We've been trying to do this wine for several years now, and wasn't until 2019 that we got it the way we wanted. We've been trying for a couple of vintages, and finally in 2019 we achieved what we wanted, what is to show these wines that are really fresh, you know, the acidity is really vertical, and but at the same time the nose is very subtle. Flowers there's some red fruits, but it's really subtle, really elegant, and in the mouth you have this freshness, but at the same time you have this mouthfeel, you know, that is so tasty, you know, is one wants to keep, makes you want to keep drinking. And
Wow.
yeah, it was a success. It was sold in 5 months. All of it.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, the way you explain it also make me to keep drinking the wine. Unfortunately, I don't have it here, but I'm gonna search for it after the confinement. And also, there's a comment. Gonja says, Irem, can you share the wines of the session in your story? Yes, I will do that. After the session, I will share all the wines that we talked about in the story.
Cool.
Great.
Okay, I will show you the Pais now.
Yes, please.
Well, actually, I'm a little bit thirsty because it's lunchtime.
And already my dinner time, so this is my aperitif before dinner.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
So the Pais is this will be our most serious attempt of doing a red wine of Pais. We found the right place in Itata. We have this wine that in the nose is really interesting because you have this blend of fruits and herbal notes that is quite interesting and quite unique, and also you have this acidity that is still going on there, which is quite hard to find in the north for Pais. But here in this wine, you have this blend of acidity, rusticity, and this tannin. You know, the Pais has not too many tannins, but the few tannins that it have are really reactive because they are short chain tannins. So they react with your saliva really fast. So we let it rest for 12 months in really old barrels, only for the micro oxygenation to allow this tannin to unite with each other and have a long chain tannin that makes you have this wine that is more round and more soft without losing structure. Okay, and that's the secret. That's it. No more of that. That's it. And 5 days of fermentation, or whatever the yeast wants, and nothing. Just let it. Don't spoil it. You know,
so the fermentation here is spontaneous as well, right?
Yes, and we are managed to do that with the right amount of nutrition. The nitrogen that is coming from the vineyard into the grape is really important for the nutrition of the yeast, and that's the key factor that you have to manage to have successful native fermentations. And I'm still learning, but I mean the wines are great because the fermentation starts little by little. So there's a lot of yeast there that are working, that are not Saccharomyces, they're not fermenting, but they have this enzymatic activity that liberates different aromas that you cannot have with a commercial yeast. The commercial yeast will give you the profile that you want, that you bought, you know? Okay, this yeast will give me red fruit and this mouthfeel. Okay, I'll try. No, with native yeast, you have this a lot of things going on that in the end match together and give you a wine that is really complex per se. So that's
great.
interesting. It's cool. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. And so, do you know in which markets is La Causa available? I know that it is in Spain, But do you
Yeah,
know where else?
well, you can find La Causa in Sweden, in
Mm-hmm.
Finland, and Denmark, and UK. You can
Mm-hmm.
find it in Germany, in the
Mm-hmm.
Netherlands.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I know there is in Korea also.
Oh, okay.
And Brazil is a place that people love La Causa too. I don't know why, but there's a big success of La Causa in Brazil. Yeah, yeah.
And what is the last question of mine? And then I will ask one question from the audience, and then we can finish the session. What is the entire production of La Causa?
Well, for La Causa, we only do around 4,000 cases.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's around
Okay.
1,000 cases per line because we don't want. It's hard to do a special wine with big volume. You know, if you're looking
Mm-hmm.
for a special vineyard, the special vineyard will give you 10,000 or 15,000 kilograms each year. That's it. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
so we're managing that, and if we are going to grow, we have to find vineyards that have the same soil and the same weather to have the same feel at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So we're keeping it at 1,000 cases each for the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, the commercial side will decide what happens next. But from the
Okay.
technical winemaking side, we're fighting back to keep it down.
To keep it back. Great.
Yeah.
Good luck with your fight. And one last question from Gonja. Do you plant any fava beans or some kind of other plants to feed the soil with nitrogen
Yeah,
in the
actually,
vineyard?
in our vineyards here in Curicó, we use habas, you know,
Mm-hmm.
beans, and also we grow some cereals in between,
Mm-hmm.
and that will help you not only for the nitrogen and the fertilization, also to the texture of the soil, you know, and to keep the
Mm-hmm.
humidity of the soil. And we have seen a change in the vineyard. We started to change, for example, this vineyard here in Curicó on 2008. And since that time to this time, the vineyard looks more healthy, you know,
Mm-hmm.
looks happier. You have this beautiful green during the whole season that we didn't used to have before. You know, before we used to do these Parker wines really concentrated. The vineyard was really stressed.
Mm-hmm.
It was really being forced to produce with chemicals and fertilization, you know, and the vineyard was exhausted. The vineyard here
Mm-hmm.
is 30 years old, and it's been rejuveneciendo, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like
regenerating, you know. Yeah.
it's regenerating. It's like
Yeah.
getting younger again, and
Yeah.
yes, we do all those treatments to the soil.
Uh-huh.
Also, we have cultures that are flowers that attracts bugs, good bugs to control the bad bugs in the vineyards. So yeah, we have ducks.
Mm-hmm.
We control the wheat in the wintertime with chips. You know,
Mm-hmm.
ovejas. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
You
really
have
interesting. And it's
mulas,
good.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You have mulas, like donkey, no?
Yeah,
Mula.
yeah. Mula
Mula.
is an hybrid between a horse and a donkey. That's
Okay.
what means. Yeah,
Okay.
that's mula.
Great. Yes, mula.
So yeah, yeah.
Great. And I see that you guys there have a great energy because it also reflects to your face and your attitude. Thank you so much. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Cristian. It was a great session, and normally I wrap up my sessions for about 30 minutes, but with you it has been like 50 minutes because it was really pleasure to talk to you, and the causa and everything is super exciting. And thank you so much for your time and to be here with us.
Thank you.
Great.
Thanks to you to invite us, and I don't know. Hopefully you can find wines from Idata and give it a try. And Chile is more than Cabernet. It's more than cheap Cabernet. So we have this here, and I invite you all to give it a try. We have a lot to show.
Great. So all together we'll come there.
Of
Hopefully
course,
soon.
I will
Great.
will be
Great.
expecting you. Bye bye.
Great. Thank you, Christian. Bye.
Ciao.
Bye. Ciao.